actually get into the Visionaries thing because the new album came out, and bro,
Yes.
yeah, the ICU tune is banging.
Oh, you actually listen.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
actually got it. Okay. I
Yeah,
don't know.
that was
So
the beat, baby. Yeah, it's sick. And furthermore, I mean, first of all, it took me right back to LA, man. I missed that place so much.
oh man, yeah. For a lot of people don't know, Visionaries. We have a new album called V, appropriately called V. It's our fifth album. Came
Produced
out
by
in
you, I might add.
yeah.
Woo!
This is actually the first. Usually, in all our albums, like Kiko and myself are the main producers, and then of course we either like J Rock or Babu.
Yeah,
Uh, of course, at the time we had like on our the album before our fourth album, we are the ones we had Dilla, we had Madlib, we had Kev Brown.
crazy.
Before that, we had Ono, Can Kick. I mean, we had all the homies and stuff, but majority of the production was held down by Key and myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, after the fourth album, obviously there was like a 13-14 span for the next album, and a lot of it was like I only can speak for myself and stuff. So and technically I was kind of like burnt out, and being in a group, it's very hard. It's like it's a marriage basically and stuff. So
Yeah.
and for me personally, I needed to venture out and grow as a person and as a DJ and as a producer and stuff like that. So I mean, the group never broke up. We always did shows, but we never recorded. So like when we perform, it's like drinking water. It's like boom, 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 boom.
Back on the bike. Yeah.
Right, on the bike. But to record was a whole, everybody was in a different space. Everybody, and we as any group or any family or like that, we had disagreements or whatever, whatnot, but the love was always still there. But it was just not, like again, only can speak for myself. I had to learn how to, just to grow and to, to take a break and just to learn and get experience and stuff. And then, and the guy, because our fans would always want when's the next album, right? Some of the guys said we got to make a new album, and to tell you the truth, I was not mentally prepared for that, so I like when we came back, when it was time to make the album, I think by the time when I felt confident enough by the time I was able to, I had a couple of projects under my belt. I did things on my own. Because a lot of people don't know me as a producer. They know me as as a DJ, a turntablist, or whatever, whatnot. Yeah. So
the whole beat junkies thing, dynasty.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, so I kind of just and being being a DJ, it was the next progression as being a producer. If you came from that you came from that era, it's like basically the world's greatest hip hop producers were DJs. So that's the next evolution and stuff. But I've always been making beats, but I've never really outside of the Visionaries or whatever circle I got rolled with and stuff like that. So I wanted to start venturing out. So when I felt confident of what I do, and usually because the DJs, we don't really, we speak with our hands. I don't
Yeah.
You're an MC, so you guys have to be like this. And I have when you have 5 MCs and 1 DJ, and you have 6 personalities, you're gonna clash heads, and so it was a thing. Like sometimes it's kind of hard to do, and there's certain things I can't do within the Visionaries that I wanted to do outside of that, like musically wise too as well, professionally and musically and stuff. So when it was like when I finally decided to say, let's do a Visionaries album, but I said, because the guys was like, yo, you and Key should do this. He's like, Rhett, you should make a Visionaries beat. And I was like, I don't even know what a Visionaries beat is.
Oh, that's like the hardest thing to even suggest, I bet, you know. How?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, like as an artist, you should know this too as well, is that you have I realized learning that you have to make things from your heart, you know, like it has to make sense, right? And I learned a lot also, you know, again, as a person, as a man and stuff like that. I learned stuff that, you know, you have to be true to yourself. Also, when you got to learn how to, like, when you're in a relationship, it's a give and take, but you have to learn how to communicate, and you have to also become, you know, confident. And I didn't, you know, as artists, you're very sensitive with your own work. So it's like, you know, when someone criticizes your shit, you just like, you take it to heart, you know?
For sure.
So, but I had to learn as like, over the years and stuff, during those years from fourth album came out in 2006. From 2006 to you know, to up to now, like I learned a lot in terms of like you realize you can't please everybody.
The hardest lesson to learn, man.
It is the hardest lesson to learn. You can't please everybody. All you can do is do your best, even if it's not. It's like, as long as you tried your best, you can't be afraid of failing. You know, that's like what I've learned is that if you're afraid to fail, then you're afraid to succeed.
Ooh, yo, fact. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So, and then what also, like, during the process, I've if you met, you know, like back then, you know, I was pretty heavy set. I was kind of fat, you know, like that. So then during those times, I started learning. I started late, but I started training jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu. So what I've learned from that is, like, that helped another level in terms of, like, showing me, like, your ego is not your amigo. Because, like, when you go train and stuff, like, you could be, oh, sure, you're the baddest, whatever this. You know? When you go and train in the mats, that doesn't matter. So you can get touched, you can get choked out, and that made me realize, like, okay, add another layer. Like, okay, you know, don't think you're the shit, because there's someone out there. You might be better than someone, but there's someone out there is better than you, and you get choked out.
Yeah.
Real quick. So that kind of helped me in terms of applying that to my lesson of learning, you know, applying to everyday life and into my music and stuff. So once I get that mindset in terms of this, like, you're always a student. That's it, you know, and you're just going to learn. You can't, you know, your biggest competition is yourself. I mean, everything I say is a very cliche. You hear this all the time.
Yeah.
But it's so true when when you go through life and stuff, and life will, you know, like karma will smack you one way or another.
Yeah.
Like, for real. You know, like, yeah, when we were young, you think you're the shit. And then when you get older, you're like, you really ain't the shit.
Yeah. It's funny, actually, because you learn more as you get older. It's almost like you want to role reverse your head. You know, you so that you're younger with a wiser head. It's a weird science. And you know what? The things you talk about there, though, is a hip hop mentality. It's knowledge of self. That's really what we're getting at, isn't it?
Totally. So going back to the Visionaries thing. So when I said, look, guys, we're gonna make the album, but I'm gonna do all the beats.
Yeah.
And if you listen to the album, there's a skit on there I got from Jazzy Jeff, you know, because he preached this to us, you know, to a lot of us and stuff, saying, like, hey man, die empty. Basically, you're saying, like, don't hold on to shit, let it go. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Just put it right. So I took that same attitude in making the album and saying, like, guys, here's the beats. I don't know what a Visionaries beat is. These are my beats. Even if you don't feel it, write to it. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Just do it, right? Because before, everybody's like, yo, we need to do this, we need to do that. It's like, nah, dude. If you keep on doing that, we're never gonna just write. Just whatever comes out, comes out. You know, and basically that's how the album was. Like I said, and I just, like, you know, and I learned to also, before, you know, trying to overproduce or like, like, hey, you got to do your verses, this and this. I said, you know what, guys, I'll let you write. Just write your whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you how to write. Don't tell me how to make my beats.
Yeah.
Right? Because before they would always tell you, like, Rhett, you need to do this and this. And it's like, and again, as artists, we're sensitive to shit. So I kind of I got to a point where just like, guys, look, I'm not going to tell you how to write. You can be your own critic and stuff.
Yeah.
If it sounds dope to me, cool. If you're happy with it, cool. Give me those, and I'll rearrange it the way it's supposed to be, like that. So, and it took us 3 years over the off and on.